In this video, I will share with you why communication is important to every relationship that you have, even your spiritual relationship with God. Let's have this conversation. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to our channel. This is Not Easily Broken. On our channel, we help couples in unhappy and unfulfilled Christian marriages improve communication, restore trust and intimacy, and build a happy marriage that is not easily broken. Now, guys, listen. No marriage can be built without communication. Relationship begins with communication, and relationship will end because of communication. Every relationship needs communication in order for it to be built successfully. Whether it is a spiritual relationship or a love, marriage kind of relationship. Now, let us look at your spiritual relationship with God. When God created Adam, they communicate and build a relationship. Life is all about relationship, and relationship is all about communication. Adam had a relationship with God. It was a God to man, man to God relationship. Man to God, God to man relationship, right? This vertical relationship is key. It is the first relationship that we need to develop. It is key to how we have our horizontal relationship, our husbands to wives, wives to husband relationship. It is hinged, or it is predicated upon the vertical relationship. And so God would visit Adam at the cool of the day and communicate with him. It was through this communication that man built a strong relationship with God. In Matthew chapter 6 and verse 33, it tells us that we must seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all things shall be added unto us. And so they had a great relationship. Man and God, God and man had a good thing going. But then in Genesis chapter 3 and verse 8, it tells us that God visited Adam to communicate with him, and he was nowhere to be found. What happened? There was a breach in that relationship. There was a gap in that communication. Why? Because sin took place, and after man fall, because of sin, it creates that vacuum. There's a distance between man and God. And so when God asked for Adam, when God called for Adam, he was nowhere to be found. Isn't it amazing that when we messed up and when we have a problem and when situations are not right with us and our spouse or with other people or with God, we don't want to communicate. We distance ourselves. I believe this is the time when we need to communicate more. It is a time that we need to lean in and trying to figure out how we can bridge and mend what has been broken because of trust issue, because of problems, situations, and everything that seems to causes problems in our relationship. This is a time that we need to spend time with God to rebuild that trust. The Bible tells us in Joshua chapter 1 and verse 8, and I'm paraphrasing, that when God called Joshua to lead the children of Israel into the promised land after Moses died, God said to Joshua that, listen, this word, my word, shall not depart out of your mouth. You shall meditate upon it night and day. Don't turn from it. Focus on it, read it, study it, meditate upon it, and you will make your way great and you will have good success. God was telling Joshua that if you follow my word, if you communicate with me through my word and through prayer, I'm going to make you great. I'm going to help you to establish your greatness. Because see, the lack of trust and disobedience, it breaks communication and it impacts relationship. This is what happens with Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden. So to restore relationship, you have to do it through communication. And to communicate, it means to be open and be vulnerable to have these kind of conversation with your spouse. Now, let us talk about the relationship that you have with your spouse through communication. To build relationship with your spouse, you have to communicate. The only way to get to know your spouse is by communicating with them. The only way to build a meaningful friendship and relationship is through communication. Communication gives you access to the one you love, and access gives you privilege. Let us explore a few reasons why communication is important in a marriage. Number one, you communicate to connect. Remember what I said, that communication is about connection. How do you connect? You connect with your spouse emotionally, mentally, intellectually, spiritually, and also sexually. Number two, you communicate to relate. Relationship is built because of you and your spouse's ability to relate with each other. You are in a relationship because you were able to relate. You fell in love because of relatability, stickability, comparison and contrast between your like and dislike, the things that bond you together, glue you together, brought you together. It was all because you took the time to communicate. In other words, you understand each other's needs because of communication. The word relation means the way in which two or more concepts or objects or people are connected. There you go again. The idea is to connect when you communicate. It is from this word relation that we get the word relationship. Number three, you communicate to serve. Yes, you communicate to serve. Why this is important? Because if you don't communicate your needs to your spouse, how will they be able to know what you like? How can they be able to serve you if you never communicate? How will they be able to add value to your life if you never communicate your needs to them? Marriage is about losing yourself in the service of each other. Yes. You will only be able to do that if you learn how to communicate. Some of you think that your spouse should automatically know how to read your mind. No, God didn't call your spouse to be mind readers. Yeah, I know they have gifts and talent and they are brilliant, but mind reading was not one of them. You got to talk. You have to spend time to talk to each other. Get to understand your likes and your dislike. Number four, communicate to build sexual intimacy. This, my friend, is very important in marriages. And the reality is, I think that this is an area that a lot of couple needs help in. Great sexual intimacy does not just happen. It is not by happenstance. Great sexual intimacy is created. Great sexual intimacy is a planned event. How can you create if you don't communicate? Do you know how to please your spouse? Do you know what they like and what they dislike? Do you know what they desire sexually? Do you know what sexual position they favored the most? Come on now, let's be real about this. Do you know how to communicate with your wife's mind and also her body? Do you know the erogenous zone of your spouse? I mean, this is something that you have to learn. You have to communicate. You have to ask questions. I remember asking my wife these questions. How do you desire to be pleased sexually? And because we have a great relationship, because we communicate, she was able to express those things to me. And I have it in my mental mind. I have it in my mental library. I draw from it every time we are in that space and in that moment. It's important, guys. And unfortunately, for many in relationship, you don't have that openness, or maybe you don't create that space where vulnerability is able to facilitate and express in that area. There are many things that you can bypass, or you can put on the lower level or the lower scale of your marriage. But communication is not one of them. It must be in the number one category when it comes to what's important to the well-being and the upkeep of your marriage. Now, these are the key points that I really want to bring out to you to help you to build a strong and a healthy marriage, a marriage that is not easily broken. Why? Because you spend time to learn how to communicate. You learn how to build relationship through communication. I also have a free ebook that I would like you to get. It's free. Yes, it is free. It is 7 Threats to a Happy Marriage and how you and your spouse can work together to fix these problems, right? If this video add value to you, I would like you also to leave a comment in the comment section. Please like and share the video. And if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, then please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. May God continue to bless you. And I cannot wait to see you in the next one.